March 21st, 1967. War Zone C, Tay Ninh Province, South Vietnam. 65 kilometers northwest of Saigon near the Cambodian border. Dense jungle, triple canopy. The territory belongs to the Viet Cong. For years they have operated here with near impunity. Base camps, supply depots, training areas. The jungle is their fortress. Operation Junction City, the largest American operation of the war, is designed to change that. 22 infantry and airborne battalions, over 30,000 American and ARVN troops. The objective? Find and destroy Viet Cong forces in War Zone C, drive them into Cambodia or annihilate them, break their hold on this region. By mid-March, the operation is succeeding. Multiple contacts, enemy base camps overrun, supply caches destroyed. But the main Viet Cong forces, the 9th VC Division, have avoided major battle. They retreat deeper into the jungle, waiting for opportunity. That opportunity comes at a place called Suoi Tre, a small stream in the jungle, unremarkable, unknown, about to become the site of one of the most lopsided battles of the entire Vietnam War. On March 21st, 3,500 Viet Cong troops will launch a massed human wave assault against a hastily prepared American firebase defended by fewer than 1,000 soldiers. The attackers expect to overrun the position in minutes, annihilate the defenders, claim a propaganda victory against the Americans. Instead, they will run into a wall of firepower unlike anything they have experienced. Artillery firing at point-blank range, airstrikes dropping napalm meters from friendly positions, a relief column of tanks and mechanized infantry smashing through VC lines. In 4 hours, the Viet Cong 9th Division will lose over 600 dead and an entire regiment destroyed as a fighting force. This is the Battle of Suoi Tre, the day the jungle ran red, the day American artillery fired 30,000 rounds in support of a single firebase. The battle that proved massed infantry assaults against prepared American positions was suicide. Firebase Gold, March 20th, 1967. 2nd Battalion, 77th Artillery, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel John Vesey, receives orders to establish a firebase in the jungle to support infantry operations. The location is a small clearing near Suoi Tre Stream. Map coordinates Yankee Tango 515656. The firebase is designated Gold. 0700 hours. Helicopters airlift Delta Battery into the clearing. 6105mm howitzers. Chinook helicopters carry them slung beneath in cargo nets. The artillery crews immediately begin preparing positions. Captain George Stolber, the battery commander, positions the 6 howitzers in a rough circle facing outward. The crews dig gun pits, stack sandbags around ammunition. 105mm shells are stacked in organised piles. Each weighs approximately 15 kilograms. Infantry security arrives. 3rd Battalion, 22nd Infantry, 4th Infantry Division. Companies Alpha and Charlie, approximately 250 men. Additional infantry from 2nd Battalion, 12th Infantry, and 2nd Battalion, 77th Infantry, reinforced during the day. By evening, the firebase garrison totals approximately 750 troops, plus 150 artillerymen, 900 total. The perimeter is roughly circular, approximately 250 meters in diameter. The jungle presses close. Visibility beyond the tree line is limited to meters. Foxholes are dug every 10 to 15 meters. Machine gun positions for M60s. Wire is strung. Concertina wire forms a barrier, 2 strands in most places. Claymore mines are emplaced facing outward. Electrical firing wires run back to foxholes. By 1700 hours, Firebase Gold is operational, the howitzers are registered, the infantry positions are prepared. Wire is up. Claymores are set. The command post is established. Communications connect to brigade headquarters and supporting artillery bases. No one knows that 3,500 Viet Cong soldiers are watching from positions less than 500 meters away. The 9th VC Division has been tracking American movements. They identify Firebase Gold as a target. The garrison is small, reinforcements are kilometers away. A successful assault could annihilate the defenders. The planning begins. 2 regiments will participate. The 272nd and 273rd VC regiments, plus support units, over 3,500 troops. The plan: mortar barrage at 0100 hours, then at dawn coordinated ground assault from 3 sides, north, west, south, Human wave attacks, overwhelmed through numbers, close the distance quickly, get inside the American firepower advantage. The division commander approves. The regiments move into assault positions after dark. They reach positions within 300 meters of Firebase Gold. They wait for the signal. They are confident. The Americans are surrounded, outnumbered. The firebase will fall. March 21st. 0100 hours, 0100 hours. The firebase is quiet. Most soldiers sleep in foxholes or shallow fighting positions. Sentries man the perimeter. The guns are silent but ready. Artillery crews sleep near their weapons. 0115 hours. The first mortar rounds crash down. 82mm mortars. The explosions walk across the firebase. Bunkers take direct hits. Soldiers scramble for cover. The barrage is intense. Over 100 rounds in the first 5 minutes. The VC mortars are close, probably within 1,000 meters. They have the firebase pre-registered. Every round lands inside the perimeter. The American artillery responds immediately. The 6 howitzers rotate and fire. High explosive shells scream into the jungle at minimum range. The guns shoot towards suspected mortar positions. Counter-battery fire. The duel continues for 30 minutes. The VC mortars fall silent, either destroyed or displaced. The American guns cease fire. Casualties from the mortar attack. 4 Americans killed, 28 wounded. The firebase aid station treats the wounded. Medevac helicopters cannot fly in darkness. The wounded must wait for dawn. 0200 hours. An uneasy quiet settles. The soldiers remain at full alert. They know the mortars were preparation for something. Ground attack is expected. They peer into the darkness beyond the wire. Waiting. Dawn breaks at 0600. No ground attack materialized. The defenders relax slightly. Perhaps the mortars were harassment. Perhaps the VC have withdrawn. Perhaps the night is over. They are wrong. 0630. The convoy ambush. Firebase Gold requires resupply. Ammunition expended during the mortar duel. Medical supplies for the wounded. Food. And water. A convoy is organized at the main base camp to truck supplies to Gold. The convoy consists of supply trucks escorted by armoured personnel carriers from Troop A, 3rd Squadron, 5th Cavalry, 0630 hours. The convoy departs, moving along a rough dirt track through the jungle toward Firebase Gold. The route is approximately 3 kilometers. The vehicles move slowly, wary of ambush. The cavalry troopers man machine guns scanning the jungle. 0645 hours. The convoy is hit. Heavy automatic weapons fire from both sides of the trail. RPGs streak toward the vehicles. The lead APC is disabled. The convoy stops. Troops dismount and return fire. The ambush is close range. Viet Cong soldiers are meters away in the tree line. The firefight is intense but brief. The cavalry troops suppress the ambushers with machine gun fire. The damaged APC is towed. The convoy prepares to continue, but the ambushers delayed them. They are still 2 kilometers from Firebase Gold when the main attack begins. 0650. The assault begins. 0650 hours. Firebase Gold. The morning is quiet. Soldiers eat sea rations. Some shave. Others clean weapons. The wounded from the night's mortar attack await evacuation. It is a normal morning after a normal harassing attack. Then the jungle erupts. Whistles blow. Bugles sound. 3,500 Viet Cong soldiers charge from the tree line on 3 sides. North, west, south. They emerge in waves. Masses of men running forward. They wear khaki uniforms, pith helmets, carry AK-47s. They fire as they run. Suppressive fire to keep defenders down while closing distance. This is not guerrilla warfare. This is massed infantry assault. The Americans are stunned for seconds. Then training takes over. Machine guns open fire. M60s roar. 7.62 2mm rounds at 650 rounds per minute. Riflemen shoot at individual targets. M16 rifles on semi. Automatic. The rate of fire is incredible. But the VC keep coming. Captain George Stauber makes an instant decision. Swing the guns. Fire directly at the attacking infantry. The enemy is here, at the wire. The howitzers rotate on their trails. The crews load shells. Fuses are set to super quick for maximum blast against personnel. 0652 hours. The howitzers fire, point blank. The muzzle blast flattens grass. The shells scream over defensive positions and explode among the attacking VC. Each one 05mm shell creates a kill radius of 30 meters. Bodies are thrown through the air. The guns fire continuously. Load, aim, fire, 20 rounds per minute per gun, 120 shells per minute from the battery. The ammunition handlers sprint from stacks to guns carrying 15-kilogram shells. The expenditure rate is unsustainable, but stopping means death. The barrels glow red hot. Water is poured on them. The paint burns off. The heat is so intense. Loader crews rotate every minute. Heat exhaustion threatens everyone. The temperature near the howitzers exceeds 50 degrees Celsius, 0700 hours. The first VC wave reaches the wire despite artillery fire, despite machine guns. They are met with point-blank fire, M60s at 10 meters, rifles on full automatic, grenades, some VC breakthrough. They penetrate the perimeter. Hand-to-hand fighting erupts. Private First Class John Baker fights in his foxhole as 2 VC jump in. He shoots the first. The second is on him before he can chamber another round. They grapple. Baker draws his knife, stabs. The VC dies. Baker climbs out bleeding from a bayonet wound, keeps fighting. The artillery crews continue firing even as VC reach the gun positions. Gunners shoot pistols while loaders work. The guns cannot stop. Sergeant James Thompson, gun chief on Gun 3, sees VC massing. He grabs a rifle, shoots 4 attackers, returns to directing his crew. The gun never stops. The Yi battery fires over 4,000 rounds in the first hour. 0715. The flechette rounds. Captain Starber orders a special ammunition. Flechette rounds. Canister shot. Each shell contains 8,000 small metal darts, like nails with fins. When fired, the shell breaks open and the darts spray outward in a cone. The effect is like a giant shotgun, devastating against massed infantry. The artillery crews load flechette. The guns fire. The darts rip through the attacking waves. Men are cut down in groups. The carnage is horrific. Bodies fall in heaps. The VC assault waves are shredded, but still they come. The Viet Cong commanders push more troops forward. They accept the casualties. They believe overwhelming numbers will prevail. Just get to the Americans. Close the distance. Their numerical superiority will decide the battle. It is a fatal miscalculation. 0730. Air support arrives. The firebase radioed for air support as soon as the attack began. Now the aircraft arrive. A 1E Sky Raiders, F-100 Super Sabres, attack helicopters. They circle overhead looking for targets. The firebase marks its perimeter with coloured smoke. Everything outside the smoke is enemy. The aircraft attack. They drop napalm canisters 50 meters from American positions. The petroleum jelly flames incinerate everything in a 100-meter radius. VC soldiers are burned alive. The heat forces surviving attackers back. The napalm creates walls of fire that disrupt the assault. F-100s make strafing runs. 20mm cannons tear through the jungle. High explosive bombs crater the assembly areas where VC troops mass before attacking. The airstrikes kill hundreds, but the assault continues. The VC are committed, they cannot retreat. Orders are to take the firebase. The survivors keep attacking through the fire and explosions. 0800. The relief column, 2 kilometers away, Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Haig hears the battle. He makes an immediate decision. Abandon the supply mission. Attack toward Firebase Gold. Relieve the garrison. The column reorganizes. APCs at the front. Infantry mounted. They will charge through opposition and reach Gold. Speed is essential. 0815 hours. The column advances at maximum speed. APCs crash through the jungle. Staff Sergeant Robert Herrera commands the lead vehicle. The 50 caliber gun roars. They hit VC positions. The APC fires and runs over fighting positions. The column is unstoppable. 1 kilometer from Gold, heavy resistance. A VC battalion blocks the route. Prepared defensive line, bunkers, machine guns. The lead APC takes an RPG hit. The vehicle stops. Crew and infantry inside are casualties. Following APCs swerve around. Haig orders assault through. Artillery from distant bases impacts ahead of the column. The APCs charge into their own barrage. The cavalry troopers assault with speed and violence. They crash through the defensive line, firing continuously. Close combat. The VC cannot hold. The column breaks through. Casualties. 1 APC destroyed. 12 Americans killed or wounded. 0830 hours. The relief column crashes into Firebase Gold from the southeast. The APCs roar in firing in all directions. Fresh infantry dismount. The cavalry troopers bring ammunition, reinforcements. The arrival changes everything. The VC now face fire from two directions. The assault falters. 0845, maximum firepower. By this time, Firebase Gold is the recipient of every fire support asset in the region. Artillery from multiple fire support bases is firing in support. Not just the guns at Gold, but batteries kilometers away. 105mm, 155mm, 8-inch howitzers, all firing continuously at coordinates around the firebase. The Fire Support Coordination Center is calling in missions as fast as batteries can shoot. The jungle surrounding Suoi Tre is being obliterated. Trees are shattered. The ground is cratered. Smoke obscures everything. The noise is continuous thunder. Air strikes intensify. Every available aircraft is diverted to Suoi Tre. Fighters orbit waiting for clearance to attack. They drop bombs, napalm, rockets in continuous waves. The close air support is danger close. Some bombs impact within 75 meters of American positions. The concussion knocks defenders down, but it stops the VC attacks. Helicopter gunships add their firepower. UH-1, Hueys with machine guns and rockets. They fly low, firing into the jungle at point-blank range. Door gunners shoot M60s. Rocket pods fire 70mm rockets. The gunships are vulnerable to ground fire, but they keep attacking because the troops below need them. 0900 hours, the assault breaks. The VC assault is collapsing. The casualties are catastrophic. Bodies cover the ground in front of American positions. Hundreds dead. Hundreds more wounded crawling back into the jungle. The attack waves are disorganized. Leadership is destroyed. Officers and NCOs are dead. The VC soldiers who survive begin withdrawing. Not in order, not as units. Individuals and small groups fleeing into the jungle. The retreat is not ordered. It is spontaneous. The men can endure no more. The firepower is too intense. Continuing the attack is suicide. The Americans pursue with fire. Artillery shells chase the retreating VC. Airstrikes hit suspected withdrawal routes. Helicopter gunships strafe the tree line. The killing continues even as the VC flee. 0930 hours. The battle ends. 0930 hours. 4 hours after it began, the battle ends. The VC are gone. Withdrawn into Cambodia or scattered through the jungle. The firebase is secure. The Americans hold the field. The scene is apocalyptic. The perimeter is surrounded by hundreds of bodies. Viet Cong dead lie in piles where artillery caught them. Equipment is scattered everywhere. Weapons, packs, helmets. Blood soaks the ground. The smell of death and explosives pervades. Inside the perimeter, the defenders are exhausted. They have fired thousands of rounds, thrown hundreds of grenades. Some soldiers collapse from fatigue. Others tend wounded. The aid station is overwhelmed. Medevac helicopters land continuously, evacuating casualties. The artillery battery is in ruins. Shell casings cover the ground. Ammunition stacks are depleted. The gun barrels are damaged from overheating. But the guns survived. The crews survived. They fired approximately 6,000 rounds from the 6 howitzers during the battle. 6,000 shells in 4 hours, 1,000 rounds per gun. The sustained fire is unprecedented. But that is just the battery at Firebase Gold. Artillery from other fire support bases supporting Gold fired an additional 24,000 rounds. Total artillery expenditure for the battle, 30,000 shells. 30,000 rounds fired to defend one firebase. Over 4 hours, the ammunition consumption is staggering. The counting. As the battlefield clears, the grim work begins. Counting the dead. Identifying remains. Recording names. The process is methodical but horrific. Bodies lie everywhere. American and Vietnamese, in foxholes, in the wire, scattered across the clearing. The tropical heat accelerates decomposition. The work must be done quickly. American casualties, 31 killed, 109 wounded. The losses are significant but far lower than expected given the intensity of the assault. Of the 31 killed, most died in the initial mortar barrage or during the close combat when VC penetrated the perimeter. Relatively few were killed by long-range fire. This suggests the artillery and machine guns were effective at keeping attackers at distance. The wounded range from minor injuries to critical trauma, shrapnel wounds, gunshot wounds, burns from napalm that fell close, blast injuries from mortars and RPGs. The aid station treats what it can. Medevac helicopters begin, arriving as soon as the battle ends. UH-1. Hueys painted with red crosses land continuously. They load wounded, 3 to 6 per helicopter depending on the severity of injuries. Litter cases take more space. Walking wounded can pack in. The medevac pilots and crew show extraordinary courage. The LZ is still taking occasional sniper fire. Unexploded ordnance litters the area. One helicopter nearly crashes after hitting a stump hidden in the smoke, but they keep coming. The wounded need evacuation. The birds keep landing until every casualty is out. Viet Cong casualties are catastrophic. Body count in the wire and immediate area. 632 confirmed dead. The count is methodical. Each body is found, examined, counted. Weapons are collected, documents are searched for intelligence. The process takes hours. It is grisly work but necessary. The bodies show the effects of different weapons. Some killed by small arms fire, bullet wounds, relatively clean deaths. Others killed by artillery. Limbs missing, bodies torn apart, massive trauma. Some killed by flechette rounds. Multiple small wounds. Dozens of metal darts in each body. The most disturbing are those killed by close napalm strikes. Burned beyond recognition. Charred remains. The smell is unforgettable. But 632 is only the confirmed count. Bodies visible and accessible. The actual losses are certainly higher. Many wounded were dragged away during the retreat. Seriously wounded who died later in the jungle. Many more died during the withdrawal. Blood trails lead into the forest. Drag marks. Discarded equipment. The VC removed their dead when possible. Standard practice. Bodies taken back for burial. Honor the fallen. Deny the Americans accurate casualty counts. Intelligence estimates total VC casualties at over 1,000 killed and wounded, possibly 1,500, an entire regiment destroyed. The 272nd VC Regiment effectively ceases to exist as a fighting unit. It will require months to rebuild, replace casualties, retrain. The unit is finished for 1967. Equipment captured or destroyed, over 500 weapons, AK-47s, SKS rifles, RPD and RPK machine guns, RPG launchers, 82mm mortars, B-40 rockets, recoilless rifles. The weapons are stacked in piles, photographed, counted. Some will be sent to intelligence, most will be destroyed. Too much to keep. Ammunition. Thousands of rounds, grenades, satchel charges. The VC came prepared for sustained combat. They brought enough ammunition to fight all day. They expected to overrun gold and then defend it against counterattacks. Instead, they used their ammunition attacking and died before exhausting supplies. Medical supplies, bandages, morphine syrets, Chinese characters on the packaging, Soviet-made medicine. The trail back to communist supporters is clear. Documents, maps showing VC positions, unit rosters, political officers, notebooks containing propaganda and motivational speeches, orders. The intelligence hall is significant. It provides insight into VC planning and organisation, personal items, letters from home, photographs, rice, dried fish, the mundane possessions of soldiers. These humanise the enemy. Remind the Americans that the VC are people, soldiers like themselves, fighting for what they believe. The realisation is uncomfortable. Easier to think of the enemy as faceless, but the personal effects make that impossible. The kill ratio is approximately 20-1. For every American killed, 20 Viet Cong died. The disparity demonstrates the effectiveness of American firepower against massed infantry assaults. It validates the doctrine, it proves the concept, but it also raises questions. If the exchange rate is so favourable, why is the war not being won? How many VC must die before they stop fighting? The questions have no comfortable answers. The firebase after battle. Firebase gold, Izzy. A ruin. The perimeter is pockmarked with craters. Mortar impacts. Artillery craters from VC mortars and recoilless rifles. Shell casings cover the ground. Thousands of brass casings from rifles and machine guns. The wire is torn and trampled. Bodies lie in it. The wire must be restrung, cleared. The artillery positions are surrounded by shell casings. Mountains of brass. 6,000 rounds fired by 6 guns. 1,000 per gun. The empty casings are 3 feet deep in places. They must be pushed aside to clear working space around the guns. The howitzer barrels are damaged. The rifling is eroded from sustained fire at maximum rate. The paint is burned off. The metal is discoloured from heat. The guns are technically unserviceable. They need rebarreling. But they functioned. They fired when needed. They saved the firebase. That is what matters. Ammunition stocks are depleted. The piles of shells are gone. A few hundred rounds remain. Enough for normal fire missions, but not for another assault. Emergency resupply begins immediately. Chinooks fly in pallets of ammunition. 105mm, machine gun ammunition, rifle rounds, grenades. The firebase must be restocked in case the VC attack again. Buildings and bunkers are damaged. The command post bunker took a direct hit from a recoilless rifle. One wall collapsed. Communications equipment was damaged but kept functioning. The aid station is a shambles. Supplies are scattered. Blood covers the ground. The medics work in chaos but saved lives. That is the measure of success. Personal gear is scattered everywhere. Packs, helmets, entrenching tools, weapons. In the chaos of battle, soldiers dropped equipment to fight more effectively. Now it must be collected, sorted, returned to owners. Unidentified gear is stacked. The owners are dead or evacuated. Their possessions will be sent home. Letters, photographs, the personal effects that families treasure. The defenders are exhausted. Many have not slept in over 24 hours. Some have been awake for 2 days. They sit in foxholes, stare at nothing. The 1,000-yard stare. Combat fatigue. Post-battle emotional crash. The adrenaline is gone. Reality sets in. They survived. Friends did not. The weight of that realization is heavy. Hot food arrives in the afternoon. The first hot meal in days. Soldiers line up with mess kits. They eat without tasting. Fuel for the body, comfort for the soul. Hot food is civilization, normalcy. A reminder that the world beyond the firebase still exists. Replacements arrive. Fresh troops to replace casualties. Young faces, new uniforms, clean weapons. They stare at the battlefield, at the bodies, at the veterans who fought. The gulf between them is visible. The new troops are untested, the veterans are changed. Combat does that. It separates the before from the after. The replacements will learn. Soon, war is a harsh teacher. In the jungle, the VC perspective. In the jungle beyond Firebase Gold, the remnants of the 9th VC Division withdraw. They move in scattered groups. Unit cohesion is destroyed. Companies are reduced to platoons. Platoons to squads. Officers are dead. NCOs are dead. The survivors move on instinct. Follow the compass. Head for Cambodia. Reach sanctuary. The wounded slow the retreat. Seriously wounded must be carried. Litter teams struggle through the jungle. Some wounded die during the movement. They are buried where they fall. Shallow graves. Hasty. The living must keep moving. The Americans will pursue. Artillery will target the withdrawal routes. Speed is survival. The division has lost over 1,000 troops, killed or missing, wounded. The 272nd Regiment is destroyed. The 273rd Regiment is shattered. Support units are decimated. The division is no longer combat effective. It cannot fight. It can barely move. Equipment losses compound the personnel losses. Hundreds of weapons left on the battlefield. Mortars, machine guns. The weapons are irreplaceable in the short term. New supplies must come down the Ho Chi Minh Trail. That takes weeks, months. The division is disarmed as well as depopulated. Morale is shattered. The soldiers believed they would win. The plan was sound. The numbers favoured them. They attacked with confidence. They expected to overrun Gold quickly, kill the Americans, seize the artillery, claim victory, enhance the division's reputation. Instead, they were slaughtered. The American firepower was beyond their experience. The artillery firing at point-blank range, the endless machine gun fire, the airstrikes, napalm, the walls of explosions. They could not advance through it. They tried. They died. Those who survived are traumatized. They will fear American firebases. The fear will persist. The division commander must report to higher headquarters, explain the failure, account for the losses, justify the decision to attack. The report will be difficult. The casualties are inexcusable in communist doctrine. The party values lives. Throwing them away in futile assaults is ideologically wrong. But the commander had orders. Attack American positions, inflict casualties. He tried. He failed. The political officers work to restore morale. They give speeches, blame the failure on bad luck, on American advantages, on anything but poor planning. They emphasize the division's courage, the soldiers' sacrifice. They frame the defeat as setback, not disaster. The troops are not convinced. They were there. They know what happened. The division will withdraw to base camps in Cambodia. Rest, refit, replace casualties, rebuild units, retrain. It will take months. The 9th VC Division will not launch another major operation in 1967. Suoi Tre has broken them. The aftermath. In the hours after the battle, reinforcements pour into Firebase Gold. Additional infantry battalions, engineers, medical personnel. The firebase is strengthened against follow-up attacks. Patrols sweep the surrounding jungle looking for wounded VC and stragglers. The searchers find more bodies, abandoned equipment, blood trails leading into Cambodia. The 9th VC Division withdraws across the border. The division has been mauled. The assault on Suoi Tre was supposed to be a victory. Instead, it became a disaster. The division will require months to replace casualties and rebuild shattered units. They will not launch another major attack for the remainder of 1967. For the American forces, Suoi Tre is a tactical triumph. They held against overwhelming odds. They inflicted massive casualties while taking relatively light losses. The battle validates American doctrine. Superior firepower defeats superior numbers, artillery, air support, coordination. These advantages render massed infantry attacks obsolete. But there are troubling undercurrents. The VC were willing to accept horrific casualties for minimal gain, 600 dead, to kill 31 Americans. The exchange rate favors the US dramatically. Yet the VC keep coming. Their willingness to die for their cause is unshakable. This raises questions about whether attrition strategy can work when the enemy accepts any level of casualties. Recognition. The defense of Firebase Gold earns widespread recognition. The battle is studied, analyzed, used as example of successful defensive tactics. Awards are distributed throughout the chain of command, from generals to privates. Many receive medals for actions that day. Lieutenant Colonel John Vesey, the artillery battalion commander who directed much of the fire support, receives the Distinguished Service Cross. The nation's second highest award for valor. The citation describes his leadership under fire, his coordination of 30,000 artillery rounds, his calm direction of fire support that saved the firebase. Vesey's career continues upward. He will command artillery units, rise to general officer, eventually become chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the highest-ranking military position in the United States. The defense of Suoi Tre is an early demonstration of the leadership that will define his career. Captain George Stauber, the battery commander who ordered the point-blank artillery fire and flechette rounds, receives the Silver Star. His decision to swing the guns and fire directly at attacking infantry was unconventional. It violated doctrine. Normal artillery employment is indirect fire at distant targets, but Stauber recognized the situation required adaptation. He made the right decision instantly. His guns fired 6,000 rounds, broke the assault, saved lives. The Silver Star recognizes this leadership and tactical innovation. Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Haig, who led the relief column that broke through to Gold, receives the Distinguished Service Cross. His aggressive action reinforced the defenders at the critical moment. The citation describes his leadership under fire, his decision to assault through blocking positions, his coordination of mechanized attack. The relief arrived when most needed. Without it, Gold might have fallen. Haig's career also rises. He will command in Vietnam, serve as military assistant to Henry Kissinger, become Supreme Allied Commander Europe, later serve as United States Secretary of State. The courage shown at Suoi Tre foreshadows the leadership of his later career. Lieutenant Colonel Edmund Egan, 3rd Battalion 22nd Infantry Commander, receives the Silver Star. His infantry companies defended the firebase throughout the assault. He coordinated the defense, positioned reserves, directed reinforcements to weak points. Under his leadership, the perimeter held despite overwhelming pressure. His battalion suffered most of the casualties but accomplished the mission. Hold Gold. They did. Staff Sergeant Robert Herrera, who commanded the lead APC in the relief column, receives the Silver Star. He led the charge through hostile fire. His vehicle took multiple hits, but he kept moving. His .50 caliber guns suppressed enemy positions, allowed the column to advance. His courage under fire was inspirational, visible to all troops in the column. Leadership by example. Sergeant James Thompson, Gun Chief on Gun 3, receives the Silver Star. When VC soldiers approached his position, He grabbed a rifle and shot 4 attackers, then returned to directing his gun crew. The gun never stopped firing. His crew fired over 1,000 rounds during the battle. The sustained fire was critical. Thompson's actions epitomized the artillery crew's determination. Fight with one hand, load shells with the other, never stop. Private First Class John Baker, Alpha Company, receives the Bronze Star with a V device for valor. After killing 2 VC soldiers in hand-to-hand combat in his foxhole, he continued fighting despite a bayonet wound. He refused medical evacuation, remained at his position, kept shooting. Only after the battle did he accept treatment. His wound required stitches but was not life-threatening. He returned to duty the next day. Valor in its purest form. Lieutenant Donald Blackwell, artillery executive officer, receives the Bronze Star with V device. Wounded by shrapnel while defending his gun position, he continued directing fire. He coordinated resupply of ammunition, positioned crews for maximum effectiveness. His leadership kept the battery functioning at peak rate despite casualties and damage. Only after the battle did he accept medical treatment for his wounds. Specialist 4 Raymond Garcia, machine gunner, receives the Army Commendation Medal with V device. His M60 position was overrun briefly during the assault. VC soldiers were meters away. Garcia kept firing until his gun barrel glowed red. When the gun jammed from heat, he cleared it under fire and resumed shooting. He expended over 2,000 rounds. His position killed an estimated 30 enemy soldiers, preventing breakthrough at a critical point in the perimeter. Many others receive awards: Silver Stars, Bronze Stars with and without V devices, Purple Hearts for the wounded, Army Commendation Medals, Vietnamese Cross of Gallantry. The valor displayed during the 4-hour battle was extraordinary across ranks. From battalion commanders to private soldiers, everyone fought, everyone contributed. The defense succeeded because of collective courage and determination. The awards are presented at ceremonies in the weeks following the battle. Generals fly in to pin medals, photographers take pictures. The ceremonies are formal, proper. But to the recipients, the real recognition comes from their fellow soldiers. The nods, the quiet words, the understanding that they held when holding mattered. That is the recognition that endures. Not the medals, but the knowledge among those who were there. They fought. They held. They won. The lessons. Suoi Tre reinforced lessons that should have been obvious, but apparently required blood to prove. Massed infantry assaults against prepared positions with artillery support are suicide in modern warfare. The days of human wave attacks ended in World War I. The VC either did not learn this lesson or believed American positions could be overwhelmed by sheer numbers before firepower became decisive. They were wrong. The battle also demonstrated the importance of immediate fire support. The artillery at Gold fired continuously from the first minute. There was no delay requesting permission, no clearance procedures. The battery commander had authority to engage threats directly. This responsiveness was critical. Minutes of delay could have meant disaster. Air support coordination was equally important. Aircraft arrived within 30 minutes of the initial call. Close air support was executed despite danger-close conditions. Pilots trusted ground controllers to mark positions accurately. That trust allowed napalm and bombs to be dropped meters from friendly troops. The risk was accepted because the alternative was losing the firebase. The relief column demonstrated the value of mobile reserves and aggressive leadership. When Gold was attacked, nearby units did not wait for orders. They moved immediately. The cavalry charged through opposition to reach their comrades. This initiative and aggressiveness shortened the battle and reduced casualties. Finally, the battle showed the importance of logistics and ammunition supply. 30,000 artillery rounds in 4 hours. The batteries needed continuous resupply. Helicopters flew ammunition to gun positions throughout the battle. Without that logistical support, the guns would have gone silent and the firebase would have fallen. Victory depended as much on the supply chain as on the gunners. The controversy. Despite the lopsided victory, Suoi Tre sparked debate. Critics questioned why a firebase was established in such a vulnerable location, 900 men surrounded by jungle in the heart of enemy territory. The VC owned Warzone C. Putting a small firebase there invited attack. Defenders argued the firebase was necessary to support infantry sweeps. Artillery positions must be forward to provide fire support. Risk is inherent in combat operations. The firebase was adequately defended and held when attacked. No further justification is needed. Both perspectives have merit. The firebase was tactically vulnerable but operationally necessary. It was undermanned for the threat but successfully defended. The outcome validated the decision. But the outcome was not guaranteed. Had the VC broken through, had the relief column been delayed, had ammunition run out, the result could have been catastrophic. The willingness to accept risk is part of aggressive operations. Suoi Tre worked, but similar operations at other locations did not. The line between bold initiative and reckless exposure is thin. Commanders must balance offensive action against force protection. Suoi Tre succeeded. That does not mean the risk was wise. The Battle of Suoi Tre is less remembered than other Vietnam battles. It lacks the iconic status of Ia Drang or the controversy of Hamburger Hill. It did not change the war's trajectory. It was one engagement among thousands. To the public, it was a forgotten fight. But to those who were there, Suoi Tre was unforgettable. 4 hours of continuous combat, the most intense firefight of their lives, the fear, the exhaustion, the relief when it ended, the memory of bodies piled in the wire, the smell, the sounds. These impressions lasted lifetimes. Veterans of Suoi Tre gathered at reunions to share stories and honour the fallen. They formed associations. They ensured the 31 who died were remembered. They spoke at schools and civic groups about the battle. They kept the memory alive when official history moved on. For the artillery crews, Suoi Tre was a defining moment. They proved the value of their branch. They showed cannons can win battles decisively. The 6 guns at Firebase Gold fired 6,000 rounds in 4 hours and broke an enemy division. That feat is unmatched in Vietnam. It may be unmatched in modern artillery history. March 21st, 1967. Firebase Gold, Suoi Tre, 3,500 Viet Cong attacked 900 Americans. The attackers had superior numbers. Surprise. The advantage of cover. They should have won. Instead, they lost 632 dead. Over 1,000 total casualties. An entire regiment destroyed. The firebase held. The defenders prevailed. The VC withdrew in disorder. The American losses, 31 killed, 109 wounded. The disparity is stark, 1 to 20. For every American who died, 20 VC died. The reason? Firepower. 30,000 artillery shells, continuous airstrikes, machine guns, rifles, grenades, every weapon firing at maximum rate. The volume of fire was overwhelming. The VC could not survive it. Suoi Tre proved that American forces, when properly supported and led, could defeat far larger enemy formations. The battle validated the confidence in firepower and mobility. It showed that the US could win battles decisively. But battles are not wars. Winning at Suoi Tre did not win the war. The VC rebuilt. They attacked again elsewhere. The grinding attrition continued. No single battle was decisive. No victory was final. The war dragged on for 8 more years. Yet for one day on one hilltop, at one firebase called Gold, the Americans achieved a perfect defensive victory. They held against overwhelming assault. They destroyed the attackers. They proved their doctrine worked, and they earned a place in military history as the defenders who stood when 3,500 enemies attacked and lost. That is the legacy of Suoi Tre. Not the most famous battle, not the longest or bloodiest, but one of the most lopsided, one of the most decisive, one of the clearest demonstrations that American firepower could annihilate massed enemy assaults when the position held and the guns kept firing. The firebase was abandoned days later. It served its purpose and was no longer needed. The clearing returned to jungle. The battlefield became indistinguishable from surrounding terrain. But the memory remains. 31 Americans died defending Firebase Gold. 632 Viet Cong died attacking it. The numbers tell the story. The disparity defines the battle. Suoi Tre stands as proof that courage and firepower combined can achieve victory against superior numbers. It stands as memorial to those who fought there. And it stands as reminder that even in Vietnam, where so much went wrong, sometimes everything went right. Sometimes the plan worked. Sometimes the defense held. Sometimes the good guys won. March 21st, 1967 was one of those times.